And we are live. Welcome back in, everybody, to another Shade Selects. My name is Marissa Hill. This is Shade TV. If you are new to this channel, be sure to hit that subscribe. Give this video a thumbs up. You are going to be in for a treat today. So I'm going to shortly be bringing in my co-host, Nick Kostos, the host of You Better You Bet, in momentarily. We are going to go through our typical weekly pickups, and then I am going to be bringing in none other than Hall of Famer nominee Takeo Spikes. This is an exciting moment. This is our first guest, and we will be having more guests from here on out. So can't wait for you guys to see what Takeo brings to the table shoe-wise. We'll be bringing him in about 15 minutes or so. But again, happy Monday night. Welcome back again to another Shade Selects. We are excited to have you all in here with us tonight. What's going on, Kostos? Welcome in.
Great to be here. You know, I don't know, it doesn't matter how old I get, the air horn sound effect is always going to make me laugh, and it always brings a smile to my face, and I think a lot of people probably feel the same way, just like it's hilarious every time. Great to be on with you. Fun week of stuff to get into here, so awesome to be on Shade Selects, and can't wait to bring on Takeo Spikes. You know, I work in the sports media. Takeo, one of the best linebackers of this era, you know, badass football player, and really pumped to bring him on the show, talk about his fashion game, his sneaker game. Going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, we're going to have some fun tonight. So let's just jump into it, Kostos. What were you able to pick up this past week?
All right, so like I told you last week, like my MO right now is just copping lots of wardrobe for the summer. And like I bought a bunch of stuff on Thursday and haven't received it yet, which is a big shame. But I'll have probably 10 things for next week that I'm really excited for. And I think now it's getting to the point where now it's like kind of shoe time for me. Now it's kind of sneaker time for me. I feel like the wardrobe is pretty much complete, and now I turn my attention for the next month or so into getting all my sneakers together. But what I did was, in honor of Air Max Day, I kind of busted out a pair of the box that I have not really worn since I bought them. And I was thinking about it, and I was like, I love this pair. Air Max Day was last week, obviously. I'm going to bust these out, and I'm going to wear them a lot this summer. And I actually tried them on with a bunch of different potential outfits because I'm kind of a nerd like that. And I'm pumped to wear these. I think it's a really underrated shoe. I've worn these.
I am obsessed with this Air Max. I took an L on it personally, but I love the whole layout of this, the aesthetic of it. I think it's so unique. It's different.
So the Air Max 1 Tinker schematic. I feel like this is such a slept-on shoe. The black pair is awesome also, which is black. It's the inverse of this black with basically the white kind of design. And what it is it's like Tinker Hatfield who designed the shoe. It's like you can actually see the script. So it's supposed to be the blueprint for the sneaker, but everything's written on it, right? So you'll see the swoosh in. So this was actually when he drew the blueprint for this sneaker, this was it.
Wow, so that's actually Tinker Hatfield's exact drawings. Yeah.
That's exactly right. So you see all the measurements, etc. here. So it's an eye-catching shoe. I think it's great, honestly, for any time of year, but for summer, it's awesome because you obviously it's a white base shoe primarily, but there's hints of black in it as well. So
it's going to go with everything. You can't go wrong with that.
Everything.
It literally goes with everything.
And for such a dope shoe, I feel like no one has it. So I think this is really going to stand out. So I'm pumped for it. And just in honor of Air Max, I just wanted to show off what I think is the GOAT Air Max, maybe the grail of the whole collection. The Atmos.
I am so envious of you right now with that one. I tried to go on Air Max Day to try and pick that one up, but I couldn't get the bubble to show me anything but sold out. So that was my failed last opportunity to probably pick that one up for retail price point. But
true story. There, back when I lived in Stamford, Connecticut, there was a sneaker store in Mamaroneck, maybe 20 minutes from where I lived.
Mamaroneck, I know Mamaroneck.
Yeah, no doubt. And I'm like, not really. It's whatever. It's not like it's a cool place, whatever. But they posted on Instagram that they had these in my size, and I messaged them, and I was like, I will be there in 20 minutes. Got my Yeezy blue tints and 4 pairs of sneakers that I don't wear. Brought them, traded them in, and then had to pay a couple $100 also out of pocket for those. But well worth it because I think this is literally the greatest Air Max ever made. So just an honor of it.
I'm jealous. One day I hope to have that in my collection. But until then, I guess I'll have to start with a different Air Max, but I'm still stoked about the one I picked up last week because I'm a huge fan of Kim Jones. So I have the Air Max 95, and I think that, quality-wise, this is just on another level. I think they did such a great job with the materials on this. The suede on this is just, it's almost like a New Balance shoe, per se. I mean, you got to pay, for Nike a little bit extra, something when they put that high-quality material on the silhouette, but they did such a great job with the coloring scheme on this, even on the outsole. Look how cool that is on the bottom.
That's very cool. And I feel like for like someone that wears kind of like with your fashion sense, and you've said on the show before, you wear a lot of black, you wear a lot of gray. I feel like that is so perfect because you've got those colors plus the hint of color with the orange.
It's got a hint of color, yeah.
Yeah.
It's not too in your face. I feel like it's just definitely, one of those statement pieces, but it's not trying to steal the show by any means.
Do you like Air Max 95s in general?
I'm not a huge fan. I'm very particular with my colorways that I like in the Air Max 95 silhouette. I saw this one and I was just like, all right, I can play with this one. I think I could do something cool in my wardrobe with this colorway. So that's why I had to pick it up. And I knew because it's Kim Jones that they were going to be fire as far as quality. And, with Nike lately, I feel like a lot of my shoes I've been getting have some quality defects, unfortunately. But this one is like primo. I mean, it's perfect mint condition and definitely higher in quality from some of the other Air Max 95s that I've seen personally.
Awesome. Love it. And I just got these Air Max 95s.
I like those. Those are simple.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to save one of my pickups for Takeo because I know that he copped one of these shoes. So I'm going to have to get his take on how he feels about them. But I'll show you some of my other pickups. So I finally actually got these in. The Syracuse Dunks. And this was the women's exclusive. It's very simple.
I've heard the quality on those is not great.
Let me show you something. And this is with all the women's dunk highs I've seen. Do you see the ripple in the leather there?
I do.
What is going on with that?
I don't know, man. I told you.
It's so frustrating.
They're printing money, so I don't think they care. But yes, it is. I would be frustrated also.
This is perfect, this side. But then the other side it's all kind of warped. So I don't know what the defects are with this. But
it's just lazy,
quality control.
Right?
Something like that, yeah. Welcome in, everybody. Just to recap everybody who's joining us right now, we are going through our cops for last week. Kostos and I, we are going to be bringing in Takeo Spikes momentarily. Kinnear, good to see you in here. Joker Harley, we got some OG Shade Gang members in the house tonight. What's up, Bogdan? Yo, what's up? Sorry, Godzilla, you had to go to bed early. Wish you could have stayed in later with us. But again, it's so good to see you guys in here tonight. We are going to be bringing in Takeo in the next 5 minutes or so. We're just going through a few of our pickups. And my next pickup I want to talk about is the Jordan 5 Stealth. What do you think about these?
I think they look so much better that you have them in hand than they did in the pictures. I'm actually kind of jealous, and I think I kind of crapped on them last week, and now, I think I actually really like them.
This was everyone's thoughts. After they dropped and after people saw these on foot, everyone was pissed that they didn't go for them. But look at the quality on that leather. It's actually fire. I have not had this high quality on any of my 5s in a long time. So when I open this, and this is actually the grade school sizing. So definitely, a difference there where you have no idea what you're going to get when it comes to grade school. It's just like a crapshoot. So I was very excited to see that they did not, cheap out with the grade school sizing this time around. So I'm very happy with it. And it's just a colorway that's going to go with everything.
I can't believe how good it looks in person. Now that I'm seeing it, it looks so much better in hand than it did in pictures.
It's the problem with Nike and their advertising. They always, show these images to us, and it's you think that that's going to be the final look. But with the lighting and the Photoshop and everything, I'm models. So obviously I get clipped entirely on my back with clothing. And then when I flip around to the backside, it changes again. Oh, we lost Kostos for a second. Let's see if we can bring him back in. But so there's a lot of tricks of the trade when you are going through marketing schemes on here when it comes to trying to sell an item, a piece of clothes, or just shoes in general. All right. Let's bring you back in here, Kostos.
Gotta love the internet.
I know, right? Internet drops. What's going on, Malia? Good to see you in here. Marius, Hope you guys are all having a good night. We are about to bring in Takeo here. So I'm actually going to save my last pickup, which you probably know what it is, Kostos, if you've seen my last videos. But Takeo also picked it up. I was stalking your Instagram, Takeo, so I hope you don't mind seeing what your latest cops were shoe-wise. So excited that we are on the same page with shoes that we like. A great general release pickup. So before we bring Takeo in, I just kind of want to give a backstory of how I know Takeo. Then I'm going to let Nick kind of give his backstory on how he knows Takeo. But Takeo Spikes and I go back a ways now. It's like time flies, my goodness. But we've both done a lot of philanthropic type of things in Haiti. We volunteered lots of time and energy to going to Haiti and giving back to this third world country. I mean, we've kind of really journeyed there and have seen some insane, differences in the way of life there in comparison to the U.S. So we've actually gone there, I think, maybe 3 times together or so. But also we just so happened to work for a company around the same period of time. So I got to actually see Takeo do some broadcasting behind the scenes. He got to see me just basically taking all this background footage of him for social media. So Takeo and I have also had some great adventures together with, work and also with this volunteer work, but also I've helped, him in a sense where I've gone to help promote his book that he released not too long ago here in New York City when times were normal. But unfortunately, with COVID and everything happening, it's sad because we haven't really gotten a chance to reconnect like normal human beings. But I'm very excited for him to be on this show. And now I'll leave it to Nick to kind of talk about how he knows Takeo.
Well, hopefully we get some vaccines rolling here soon and we can get these in-person gatherings going sooner rather than later. First off, shout out to you and Takeo for the philanthropic, the humanitarian work that you guys did. I think that's awesome and kind of deserves a second of appreciation. So thank you guys very much for that. No, seriously, because that's cool. And not a lot of people do stuff like that. So I think you guys deserve a lot of credit for that. Well, I think, there's a huge intersection, I think, between not everybody, but, sneakerheads and sports fans. I think there's like a strong intersection between that. And I think people can really appreciate, especially people around my age. And I turned 38 later this year. I kind of not grew up because he's only a little bit older than me, but I saw a lot of Takeo's career, like all of it. We're talking about a first-round pick in the National Football League, one of the best linebackers of his era. And if he played on teams where everyone on the team was as good as he was, we're talking a multi-time Super Bowl champion if that's the case. So, I mean, that's not even me blowing smoke. That's the truth. And anyone that played Madden while Takeo was active in the National Football League knows just how good this dude was. Also, like, the biggest neck you'll ever see and, like, a super intimidating guy physically, but very nice. And we had the opportunity to do a show together at CBS when I hosted for them. I think it was the NFL draft we did. I don't know, but all these shows kind of bleed together. But he does great work now. Sirius XM NFL Radio, where I worked for 10 years. I don't work there anymore, but I know Takeo's done great work with them. So super nice guy and one of the great NFL players of his era. So pumped to bring him onto the show here, Marissa.
Yeah, I'm just glad I wasn't on the other side of the playing field playing against Takeo at any point in time. Glad that we were in a partnership together, giving back volunteer-wise, because man, Takeo was definitely a scary one to go up against on the field, but happy to bring him on. I'm going to just show a little intro for you guys to see, for those of you who don't know Takeo, so you can just get a taste of how great of an athlete Takeo is and why he is still known to this day as one of the best football players of all time. So let's take a look at this.
Hey, it's time to go hunt now. My dog's gotta go hunt. Time to go put in some work, baby. There's no other place in the world I would rather be than right here on this field. I might need two so you stick up the other one.
Takeo Spikes, playmaker, makes another one.
Hey, big man, I've been waiting all year for this help, boy.
After spending 15 years in front of cameras as one of the NFL's top linebackers, former All-Pro Takeo Spikes is tackling the other side of the lens.
All right. Well, I think I couldn't have done a better introduction than that video. So let's bring Takeo back in. What's going on, Takeo? Welcome on to Shade Selects. We are so happy to have you on.
What's happening? That's what I'm talking about. Kostos.
What's up? What's up?
What's up?
What's going on?
Man, it's a pleasure to be here with you guys, man. It's been a minute since we had the opportunity to catch up. Both of you.
No doubt. No doubt. Great to be on with you here.
Times have been tough, but I'm just happy that we're able to do these lives and reconnect.
Oh, no
but,
doubt. I must tell you this, though, straight up. On a whole, like, on some, can you hear me okay? Is my audio okay?
You sound perfect. Yep, loud and clear.
Okay. Yeah, but it is good to be here. But I really appreciate that intro, though. Like the intro, like, you know what I'm saying? How you and Nick, y'all going back and forth. Like, I appreciate that. That's the reason why this is going to be a great podcast.
Well, Takeo, I got to tell you, man. There's something that I don't appreciate that your boys have done, man. Because I'm watching this Houston-Oregon State game is on in the NCAA tournament. What happened to San Diego State in the first round against Syracuse, man? I thought the Aztecs were going to go on a run here, man.
Listen, hey, you like everybody else bracket changed from that part. Like
no doubt.
It's bad. Even looking at Alabama last night going up against UCLA. You know what I mean? Like everybody had Alabama to win it all, especially after seeing the momentum. I didn't, but you know, I got vested interest. War
No
Eagle
doubt.
over here. Auburn.
No doubt, Auburn. That's right.
All right, Takeo. So as you know, this is a sneaker show. So I'm excited to basically have you kind of talk about, you know, why you're so passionate about sneakers, how football kind of shaped those passions. What do you have currently in your sneaker closet right now?
Yeah, I kind of been rocking on the, you know, sometimes whenever you're in doubt, you go to the Air Force Ones, the originals, and I know a lot of people like, oh yeah, the Michael Jordans, like the first J's. Like, yeah, but they really were Air Force Ones though, bro. And like, I got all flavors. It's like the ice cream, Ben and Jerry's. You know, I got orange, blue, baby blue. I have green, red. Like, I got everything, man. So, to be completely honest with you, like, for me, I look at sneakers the way that I did. I didn't look at it this way back when I bought them. But I look at sneakers as if they're really an investment. And this is the reason why I say this. I bought them. When you buy your sneakers and you take care of them, especially when you can buy multiple pair, and if you keep them clean, I don't care if it's 5-10 years from now, they're gonna come back. And even when they're not back, you feel even more special, because now everybody else don't have it, and you always had those in the back of the closet, and they were clean. You kept them clean, so now you can go out and do what you want to do and be like, yeah, you know what I'm saying. I can't tell you why I picked them up, but you know what I'm saying. But I'll let you know when they get ready to drop again. They don't know the difference.
They don't. They don't know the difference from the OGs or the retros, but you know in your head that you've got a story back in the shoes that you've got in the past, and people are like, oh man, you snagged that? That sold out in seconds. And you're like, kind of had this sitting around in my closet actually for some time.
Yeah, you know, that's what we do over here.
What's the what's the pair that you've got where you've noticed the most, like, that maybe like didn't go out of style, but maybe people were off for a little bit and then came back and you're like, well, like I've got this, or I've got all of it. Like give us like one pair where you're like, you're glad you held on to it, that maybe like didn't go out of style, let's say, but were out of vogue for a little bit and then came back and you were like, I've got these?
Honestly, I think it was the Air Force Ones, and it was the navy blue and white, the mids. Blue is my favorite color, but the navy blue and whites, they came out, I can't even tell you when they came out, but every time I wear them today, people ask, bro, did they just drop? Like, where did you get them? Like, did you know what I'm saying? So they naming all of the sneaker spots in Atlanta or wherever I'm at. You know, now it's a pandemic, so I've been in Atlanta. But they name every place trying to find, like, exactly where did I get them. But at the end of the day, like, I always had them, and they always my go-to. So I have, like, probably, to be completely honest, maybe I just moved. I have I have close to 100 Air Force Ones in different flavors and everything.
100 like, Air Force Ones, Takeo. We got to get a picture of that shoe closet.
Yeah, I don't want nobody running up on me, though. You know, people crazy out here. You know, you know what I'm talking about? Yeah.
Speaking of navy blue, though, I was stalking you, Takeo.
Ooh, look at you.
You got yourself some Georgetowns?
Oh, I love the Georgetowns. Love them. And this is the problem too when I was younger. Good story though. I never told this story in public. But when I remember when the Georgetowns came out, I was like, man, them shit's so fire. Like they smoke it. So I wanted them, but growing up, I remember when I was like a size 11, I wore like 11. When I was a size 12, I jumped to a 13. And then when I went to a 13, it went to a 15. And so for me, like, we didn't have money like that, so we couldn't go out and get sneakers. But it was hard finding sneakers, even at the size of 15. And so,
oh, yeah. Your
like,
size
so
sells out
like,
the fastest. It's so limited.
Oh, so limited. So, and then, you know, it's like, all right, you ain't finna put no J's on layaway. It ain't gonna happen because somebody don't go and pick them things up. So,
oh man, I remember layaway.
I went so many years, like always wanted sneakers, but I never could have them just simply because, you know, I couldn't fit them and I couldn't afford them. So it's different now.
Yeah, well, that's a great story. I want to touch on, too, I know we had an earlier conversation about kind of locker room talk. Tell us some behind the scenes about, you know, sneakers and fashion in the locker room when you were back in your football days.
Oh, no, sneakers. I think late in my career, that's when you start seeing, you know, the evolution. And I'm talking about like 2009, 2010. 11, 12, in that era, like you started to see more guys who were conscientious, not only about the outfits, but they wanted their shoe game to complement their outfit. In particular, I remember seeing I appreciate Vernon for this because Vernon Davis, tight end for the 49ers.
You got great style, man. Yeah.
Yeah,
great style.
So Vernon used to come in the locker room, right? And we used to be like, hey, man, what Vernon's going to wear today? Like, if we were holding court, like, what is he going to wear today? Vernon used to come in with some knickerbockers, some damn tight-ass jeans. This was before, like, everybody started wearing jeans, like, that are fitting guys in particular. So Vernon came in, and I remember one day he had on some, he had on some, they was like I call them knickerbockers, but they come down to your shin.
Knickerbockers.
Yeah, and like capri pants. That's what the ladies call them. He had on some of those dress pants, and he had like some nice sandals on too. Like I was digging it, but it was funny to be completely honest with you because, like, you know, everybody like we used to the traditional things. But I still remember Vernon Davis, and that's what makes this story so good. He was like, you know what? I'm not going to even partake in the conversation y'all having. But I guarantee you within 5 years, you will be dressed in the same way if you got style. That's what he said. And to this day, I don't think I ever told Vernon this. Vernon, you were right. Everybody caught on. Now, some of the stuff was a little too tight, but that's your discretion.
And now it's on the runway, right?
Yeah, it's on the
What do
runway
you
now.
what do you think like the tipping point was that got like people really interested in it? Because you said like it was like that time, like 2009, 2010, 2011. Like what happened that kind of got people more interested in like dressing like that in the locker room and like bringing sneakers into the equation? Like what do you think changed in kind of like the culture in the locker room to kind of make that happen?
I mean, I think at the end of the day, the creativity stopped when it came down to the ankles. And, guys were like, man, I just need to change up my shoe game. And so, I mean, essentially as an athlete, like you're running all day, every day, like 7 days a week. So, you see one guy come in with something and then it's like, all right, if he did it this way, now I'm going to take these J's and be able to do it Georgetown and be able to mix it in with the little blue and red. And so that's how again, everything is a competition, man. That's just how it is. Like all of the guys
on off the field
in the NFL, if they were not competitors, they competed everything.
That's crazy. I didn't know how competitive you guys were with even fashion. But I mean, it is those little accents. They're so minor, but like it really does change a look completely. That's, of course, why you have every color in Air Force One, right?
Yeah. Some of that is ignorance, Marissa, to be completely honest with you. But it worked out in the end, so it's okay.
I don't think it's ignorance at all. It's awesome. I think it's great.
Yeah, I love it. I mean,
we all have a million pairs. I had too many. I don't know what to do with them. That's not ignorance. I think it's great.
And then you look at when you look at the Air Force Ones, the thing about it is, like when you rocking them, like a brand new fresh pair out the box, like you ain't nothing you can say to me to hurt my confidence. Period. But when you get that little crease in the front. That like breaks them up. Oh, you feel like your swag level just totally off. Like,
life is over.
So you gotta buy the extra pair in order to have a nice inventory. So regardless of whatever the occasion may be, you always know you got a fresh pair of ones in the box. That's why.
They apparently have these pieces that you can put in your shoe in the toe box area. I haven't heard anything about comfort on these, but it apparently keeps your shoe from creasing in the toe. Guess they're coming out with all these different concoctions to keep people from, doing that crease. It kills me on TikTok when you see people crease their shoes. It hurts me inside. I'm like, why?
It hurt.
What did the shoe do to you?
Listen, it hurts for me to sit up here and watch you hold those J's up. Georgetown in particular colors, and those are the ones that I never could afford to get.
Took me a while for me to afford J's. I mean, I was working 40 hours a week just to try and be able to afford my team shoes in volleyball so I could fit in. My mom didn't understand that. I was like, at the end of the day, a girl's just trying to match her team, but $80 pair of Mizuno shoes were just an insane price point at the time. I just couldn't even, my mom couldn't fathom buying me a pair of shoes over, $45. So I get it.
But I think that's part of the cool thing. That's part of the cool thing though, right? About being able to do it now. And like, Takeo, you've done work at NFL radio. I worked off air there for a long time. And like, for people that don't know, like you produce in radio, like you don't make a lot of money. So like when I finally started to like do well with my career, like, and I copped the first pair of sneakers that I really copped and spent a lot of money on, I was like 32 or 33. I got the Wave Runners and I spent like way too much money on them. And since then it's been like avalanche now that I'm doing well with my career, thankfully. And now I think we can all kind of relate to that, right? Like once you can kind of get to that point where you're able to cop some sneakers, like it's great. And it's hard to stop because they're awesome. So
it looks like Joker Harley's asking you if you would rock the foam runners, Takeo.
I bet you can't pull up the phone runner. I bet you can't pull it up right now.
I already knew he was going to pull it. I was like, I actually can, but not yet. I haven't got him yet.
This is the reason why I would rock them now. Maybe I would, but the problem is I hate wearing sneakers that have the white sole bottom. Now, I wear a 15. Like, certain shoes look like extra damn big when you put them on. But
size does change the look of a shoe.
But you a big dude, man.
True.
Like, who cares, man?
all right.
You're a former football player. Who cares?
out there now. You know what I'm saying? If they are too white and too big, I just can't rock. At least I can rock with them in a different color. But I do rock with them.
They're different. It's for sure a different taste. They also had a new colorway that just came out. It's kind of this marble effect look. So maybe that would be more to your liking. It's just it's a different shoe altogether. All right, so I'm going to bring us into a conversation that's kind of trending right now. You both have probably already heard this topic. It's just all over Instagram right now. And it's all about these satanic Air Max 97s that were a collab done with Lil Nas X and a company based out of Brooklyn called MSCHF. Looks like Nike has put in a lawsuit today after the shoe sold out within minutes, of course. They sold them for $1,018 because that is the scripture in the Bible that they had actually displayed on the front of the toe there on the side. And it seems like Nike feels like they have kind of diluted the brand and they've caused a lot of chaos within the brand because they're using their swoosh markings on this shoe still. They've kind of refurbished the shoe. They put a droplet of blood in the midsole, which is pretty crazy. They've kind of restructured it in different ways, even though Nike says that they had nothing to do with this collab. People are basically being confused as to who came up with this shoe. And so they're trying to collect basically all these shoes back and destroy them as far as it goes, including all the content that was put up on them. Lil Nas X seems to be kind of skipping the liability on this one, luckily. But this is a pretty interesting shoe that I don't think any of us have really seen before. We've seen their previous collab, which was actually holy water. So it was completely the opposite direction of where this shoe is coming from. So I'm going to actually bring up a couple pictures and then I'm going to let Kostos and Takeo kind of talk about your guys' thoughts on how you feel about this collab. Would you have copped this shoe? Do you think, this is just something that shouldn't exist currently and Nike should win this lawsuit? But very interesting to say the least. Haven't seen anything like this before. All right, so I'm just going to share my screen and this is it right here. We've got Luke 10:18, the blood in the midsole, human blood, which Nike's upset about because they think that, there could be some issues with their consumers and the safety of their consumers if they purchase this, because obviously we're in a time period of COVID and, we're talking about somebody putting their blood on a shoe. I don't think that this is really the right time to be doing something like this personally. But let's hear your guys' thoughts on this specific shoe.
You go ahead first, Takeo. I'll just say this. First off, and then I'll let, business-wise, of course, Nike's going to be pissed because there's a pentagram on this. And, whether or not it's like Republicans buy sneakers too, like the famous Michael Jordan line, whether or not you're religious or not, or whether or not people at Nike are religious or not, you have to understand that a lot of people that buy Nikes are religious, and they're going to see this, and they may not know that Nike's not directly affiliated with this, and they're going to be turned off from buying a pair of Nikes ever again. So from the Nike perspective, I think they should sue the shit out of MSCHF and Lil Nas X for this. I would if I were them, and I think that's very understandable.
All right, so I just want to make sure I got it clear because I went back and read it. So MSCHF, I thought personally MSCHF was a brand of a sneaker. but it's not, correct?
No, so MSCHF, what they do is, so they actually bought 666 pairs of these shoes from Nike. And what they consider themselves to be is kind of a creative company that actually kind of refurbishes and creates their own designs on specific shoes. And they, are known to do collabs with other people. So this time around, it was Lil Nas X. And as you've seen from his current album, it is a devil that's actually screwing him from behind. So I think it has something to do with, in collaboration with the launch of that song that just came out. And he was kind of inspired by that to be themed with this specific shoe. But MSCHF themselves, they're not a quote unquote sneaker company that designs actual sneakers in a sense where it's their actual shoe.
Yeah, and so that's the reason why I was asking, because I wanted to make sure, because when I saw it, I was like, I understand why Nike is suing, but if they have their own line and brand, even though it was similar, and if you didn't, trademark, copyright, then that's on you. But then when I saw it and then actually see it's still a Nike sneaker, Nike does have the right to be upset. One is because maybe they should have came out with the concept of the shoe that MSCHF came out with to be able to fill that marketplace, that gap in the marketplace. But then really, number two, which is really number one, I understand it because I do feel like it's trademark infringement. So I get it. And they don't even want people thinking that they're affiliated or they have some type of affiliation with that, especially knowing during this time of heightened sensitivity when it comes to even the bottom line of just race. So I get it, but at the end of the day, everything revolves around the almighty dollar, period. And so they understand that they missed out on that, and they seeing MSCHF being able to capitalize on the select number pair of shoes. And they really pissed off at the fact that, we didn't think of that. You're not going to capitalize on our shoe. Therefore, we're going to bring attention to it by suing you.
Well, it also sounds like there have been threats of boycotting, and obviously they're getting some backlash on social media. So they're basically building their case on the notion, that this is really defamation of their brand, and they don't want to be associated with Satan per se. And I think that a lot of people are definitely taken by this in a sense where they're confused, because it is a confusing, concept. People don't know who MSCHF necessarily is. So when they see a shoe with a Nike swoosh on it, I think it's this automatic signal in their mind that, oh, this must be a collaboration that was done with Nike. Exactly. And so I think that is kind of the part of like, okay, some people may see MSCHF's side, but at the same point in time, it's like you are using a Nike shoe that is a well-known shoe, keeping their swoosh marks throughout it. So definitely a very interesting out there concept, and I think that things like this do typically tend to trend, but unfortunately I think that MSCHF is going to lose out on this one in this lawsuit.
And they should, right? And I don't know, I'm not I went to church when I was younger. I don't really go now, and I'm not the type of person to be preachy or tell people what they have to believe. That's never been me, and it'll never be me. But I don't know, a lot of people in this country are, Catholic, Christian, whatever, and Easter's on Sunday and Palm Sunday was yesterday, and I didn't go to church yesterday, so I'm not trying to be holier than thou or anything. This is going to be super offensive to a lot of people, and it would be cool if MSCHF did it on their own, or Lil Nas X did it on his own. But to slap this on a Nike silhouette, I don't blame that. I would be furious if I were Nike. You're going to alienate
and check
a lot
out
of
the
people.
timing of it though.
Right after Palm Sunday, it's crazy.
That's I gotta be honest.
Palm Sunday.
I'm a Catholic. I was raised Catholic. Like I said, I'm not the biggest religious person now, but this is kind of offensive to me, man. To put 666 on this is a freaking pentagram on it. For me, I'm not trying to. You can like whatever you like. I'm just saying, for me, I think this goes too far. It kind of offends me, and you don't have to agree. People don't have to agree. That's fine. But I feel like there are going to be a lot of people that feel the same. And I am far from a stick in the mud, but I feel like there are going to be a lot of people that are going to be offended by this. I don't get offended by much. This is too much, like, even for me. I'm just not into it. Other people can like it, though. That's fine.
So we have a question here, and it looks like they're asking, what do you think MSCHF might do as their next Nike shoe, assuming they don't get hit too hard by this lawsuit? I think that Nike in this lawsuit is actually going to try and keep them from continuing to do any more collabs with their shoes. I don't think they're going to allow it. That's what I read in the media, at least. So I don't know if they're going to get a second chance after, this one to even do another collab. They may have to actually design their own shoe from here on out.
I agree with you. And I think that cease and desist letter has a lot of merit that's coming from Nike that will be going directly to MSCHF. So I don't even think they'll get another opportunity to be able to do this type of collab. So I don't necessarily see it going further than what we're seeing now.
But like, imagine them doing this in the first place and thinking like they were going to get away with it, like this was going to fly. Like, they have to be smarter than that, right? Like, it's like a publicity stunt almost. Like, this was never going to fly. Nike was always going to shut this shit down. Always.
But think about, but then also too, to your point, a lot of people haven't heard of MSCHF.
You're right.
So
you're right about that.
Now, versus seeing one shoe out of their catalog, now I'm looking at every shoe and saying, like, man, let me see what type of heat you got that I can bring to the table.
You're not wrong about that.
So, you're right. The collab that they actually did before this shoe was literally the polar opposite. And I actually wanted a pair. They had holy water in them. It was completely different. Some people are asking, is Nike going to actually go back and sue them on behalf of those pairs? Well, they were extremely limited. I think there were maybe like 25 pairs that they released. So, just on a basis of, how limited the release was, obviously I had no chance in hell in copying those. But, it was a pretty creative concept. No one had ever seen a shoe that had actual holy water in it. They're kind of known to go, I think, above and beyond in like really pushing the limits. But this one, I think they just went a little too far.
But the holy water's not going to offend people like this is going to offend people, though. Like, that's the problem with this. Like, and people saw it, and people, like, if you look at, like, the Instagram comments, like, once it got cleared up that Nike put the statement out, like, we're not involved in this, and then they send the season, people thought that this was a Nike collab, and we're, like, flooding Nike's time with, like, we're going to boycott you, like, we're never going to buy your shoes again. Like, this was a problem for Nike. So, like, I think if it's, like, something that's not going to offend people, why would they care? It's just, like, getting, like, more recognition for their product, but this takes away from it. This is negative publicity for Nike. I think Takeo's right, though, that, like, listen, good for MSCHF, right? Because they actually kind of played this pretty
at the end of the day, we all know this. It's about money, right? So I think as far as Kinnear, it looks like he's mentioning that he thinks that Nike's just going to basically prevent future bulk sales to MSCHF. I think it comes down to, though, they could probably figure out somebody to go through to buy shoes in bulk somehow. I think it's just, they may even have to just completely change their name and restart their company. I don't know how they could really continue doing shoes like this with the name MSCHF. I think they've just kind of been blacklisted at this point. All right, so now let's talk about some of the releases that dropped today. I don't know if either of you went for any of these releases, but I feel like, Takeo, this may have been a release that would have maybe interested you, since you're talking about how much you love navy. Unfortunately, this was a woman's dunk, so I know they didn't have your size.
No, unfortunately.
Just cut a couple toes off. It doesn't matter, right?
Yeah. At the end of the day, it's all about what it looks like.
But Kostos and I have kind of been talking about this on a weekly basis, and Nike has just kind of really been pumping out dunks left and right. Every week I pretty much have a dunk to talk about. So color-wise, I actually really just don't mind this one. I think it's, very simplistic colorway. I think it's just the fact that we're seeing so many dunks launching that I think people are honestly getting to a point where they're getting a little tired of seeing them. And, it's kind of like, how many colorways can Nike come out with? Which it's limitless, it seems like, at this point.
Yeah, and I think that's what Go ahead, Kostos. You good?
No, you please.
All right. So I think what makes this shoe, like the Dunk, so good is it's so simple. Basic, looks like a basic shoe when you put the basic color on it. But what really accentuates and takes it to the next level is just when you add color to it and you do the different colors that they're going to put out. Like for me, that's like I appreciate shoes like this because they're so simple, so clean, but yet elegant because you can enhance the color on it.
It kind of still has this Georgetown vibe to it. It's just they kind of, switched up the way that they colored everything on the side panels there. But it definitely looks like this could be also renamed, the Georgetown shoe as well.
There you go, putting up that Georgetown shoe again. I told you.
I'm sorry, Takeo. I'm gonna keep showing.
My foot was too big, Marissa, and you just take the dagger.
Salting you, just salting you slightly. All right, so I'm going to bring up actually another Dunk. Not that, we're over Dunks completely yet, but they had some Curries launching today, and this is, it's a different take on the Dunk. If you like the navies, this is completely opposite from that with some neutral color schemes going on here. But what do you guys think of these?
I think these are so fire. I think this might be my favorite general release Dunk. Like I love them. I'm probably gonna cop them. I think they're great.
I was gonna say,
what
Kostos,
is the material? Is it still leather?
It looks like it's actually suede on the outside. So the other one was all leather. This one's got just a nice touch of suede to it. Looks pretty high quality actually. And then it looks like the swoosh also has this kind of neutral beige suede on the swoosh for the material there.
Clean, gotta have it. I appreciate that because it's a lot of. You think it will be a lot, but it's only a few that will really take it from a dress standpoint, outfit. I rocks with those.
Right? These are clean. I feel like this is going to go with, especially for springtime coming up. I feel like this is just a great spring colorway. But I feel like you could also bring this into the fall, too.
Yes. This is like an all-season shoe. Like, I think you could wear it in the spring, summer, fall. Like, you've got, like, some autumnal going on with, like the brown, the curry color, but obviously the white and then the neutral swoosh, I think makes it you can kind of wear it in all seasons. I think this is one of my favorite Dunks that's come out in a long time, and I've been eyeing the shoe for many months now. I think it's just absolutely gorgeous.
I took an L on sneakers for the draw, so don't think I'll be seeing this one on my shelf, unfortunately. I don't know any of the fans out there. It looks like everybody thinks they're fire, but I haven't heard if anybody took a W today. Pretty limited, I think.
Resale's not too bad, last I looked, though. Like 300 something bucks.
Okay. I mean, Dunks are just one of those shoes that everybody wants to go after because they retail at $100. It's just like such a crazy good price point. But definitely a clean shoe. Let me ask you this, though.
Since y'all the sneakerheads as well, so like, do you typically do what everybody else do to get the ones that you want, or you got your inside plug that gives you the access to where you ain't got to worry, but you still don't be good when it's time for you to show up?
I mean, I don't pay resale for any of my shoes, but I basically will enter. I know I got a humble brag here, Takeo. I'm not about that resale. Kostos does, but he's good at it. He knows when to buy it before the price skyrockets. I just enter basically every single raffle known to man. I go in store. I'm that girl that's waiting in line to pick up shoes when I know a store is going to be getting them. So I do put in the work. I put in the effort. You'll see me basically throw shade to Takeo once in a while on, me actually seeing firsthand shoes getting backdoored in front of me. So I definitely take a lot of L's, but I definitely go above and beyond when it comes to just trying to get shoes. I wish I had the easy plug, but unfortunately, I can't say that I do.
It's like I'd rather like, that's just me though. I'd rather like sit at like not deal with standing in line, and I'll just like pay a couple $100 more, not have to deal with it. But Takeo, you know who used to hook me up with some because we weren't together at CBS? BMAC, Brian McFadden used to hook me up with some stuff when we were together. He was great with that stuff. Yes, he was great with that stuff. But yeah, I just pay. I'm an idiot probably, but I'll just pay resale if I really like it. So
hey, you like what you like, baby.
That's it.
All right, so wow, time has flown. So I kind of want to leave the floor open as well to anyone that may have any questions for Takeo while he's on here with us tonight. I was hoping we would get through a couple more shoes, but it has already hit that 9:52 mark. So I want to open up the room for all of you that have joined us live tonight and see if you guys have any questions for Takeo or for myself or Kostos on shoes. If you want to just, hear some stories from Takeo that maybe you never would have heard if you hadn't have seen him on this live tonight. Oh yes, everybody smash that like as well if you haven't already. It does mean the world to this channel. For those of you just joining us, we've got Takeo Spikes with us on tonight, and we have kind of gone through his passions that he has for the sneaker realm, as well as, what his thoughts are on some of the current sneaker releases that we have seen this week, especially the controversial Satan shoes. I don't even know what to call them. The devil shoes, the Satan shoes.
The devil shoe.
Right? I'm like, I don't know what to call these. The 666s.
The trip sixes.
The fucking dumbass shoes. The dumbass shoes.
All right, so let me just take this off real quick and put it back. We're going to stop sharing my screen. So we got a question. T-Sizzle, which was your favorite hard hit tackle?
I will probably say when we played against New England, first game of the year, I remember Troy Brown, wide receiver, came across the middle. I knew the play was coming because I just saw it on film from previous weeks. And when it came, it definitely would have been a penalty now. It's all 240 pounds of me. I tried to run through his soul. I tried to take his soul. I wanted to make him quit. Troy was tough. But I remember I hit him. The damn ball went all the way on the sideline. First thing hit was the back of his neck. And that was the first game officially for me being a Buffalo Bill. I will probably say that was the most impactful and hardest hit that I've had.
You beat him 31-0 in that game, right? Wow. That was Lawyer Malloy's first game in Buffalo, right?
Yep. See, that's the historian over there, 31-0. Yeah. First game.
We actually have somebody asking you, Lawyer Malloy or Rodney Harrison?
I'll leave out what happened in Week 17 when you guys played him again. I'll leave that out. But, yeah, you guys got him in Week 1
17,
for sure.
Kostos, you're right. Week 17, we get there, we play him in New England. We end up losing the same damn score.
31-0, yeah.
So who are you choosing here? Lawyer Malloy or Rodney Harrison, Takeo?
Man, that's not fair. It's really not. But I think both of them, I think it's a place in Canton for both of them. Honestly, I do. Because I saw more like firsthand with Lawyer Malloy. I'm going to go with Lawyer. I'm going to go with Lawyer. But I rocks with both. Both of them, I think both will be in Canton one day.
All right. Aside from legendary, how would you describe that 1998 draft class?
Epic. Outstanding. Marvelous.
Yes.
Well, let me take you back. Who was the first pick of the draft, Marissa? That's right, Peyton Manning.
Peyton Manning.
Right.
Yeah.
I read your mind.
Was I about to do the P with my lips? You could see that.
Hold on. Was it Peyton Manning or was it Ryan Leaf?
Like,
No,
wait.
Manning was 1, Ryan Leaf was 2.
Yeah, so Ryan Leaf was 2. Now, also in that draft class, you go back then, Charles Woodson.
Oh, there we go. He's on it. He's
London Fletcher was in it, but he was an undrafted free agent. So he'll be in the Hall. God, who else in it? Myself. You had who else was first round? Kostos, I'm waiting on you, leaving me out to dry right now.
90. I was thinking the 99 class with Tim Couch when Tim Couch went number 1. 98. Obviously, we remember Peyton. We remember Leaf. I'm trying to think of who else was. This is bad, man. I've killed too many brain cells. If I really think about it, I could come up with a bunch.
But it was Charles Woodson.
all right.
You had Curtis Enos. All of these
We
guys.
got Peyton Manning, Ryan Leaf, Andre Wadsworth, Charles Woodson, Curtis Ennis, Grant Wistrom, Kyle Turley, Greg Ellis, Fred Taylor, Dwayne Starks.
Yep. Fred
Fred
Taylor, that's
Greenville,
right.
yeah.
Dwayne
We got
Starks.
Trey Thomas, Keith Brooking. Takeo Spikes. What are you doing on this list?
Oh, that's what greatness
By the
looks
way,
like, girl. What you talking about?
outside of Peyton and like I would put you like and Seawood, Takeo, like you and those two, by far the best names listed there. That's why we don't remember, right? Because it's like you and the 2 guys at the top, and everyone else is pretty good, but not as good as you guys were.
Yeah, there you go.
All right, so we have time for one more question. So this is, when did you know you were going to make it into the NFL?
I knew I was ready my junior year after playing Peyton Manning in the SEC championship game. We lost that game by 1 point, but
By
like,
one
I had an
point.
unbelievable game. Like, no, for real. DBs played horrible. But shit, our offense had 5 turnovers. And we still lost the game by 1 point. And
Who
we
was your
still
quarterback?
should've beat 'em. Damian Craig. One of the best leaders I've ever been around. But when we talk about when did I know, that game I went off. I had like double-digit tackles, 2 forced fumbles, 1 taken back for a touchdown. Oh, man, I was all over the place. I knew at that point, playing against Jamal Lewis, running back, he was a freshman, man-child, too. He was an animal. You know, Peyton Manning, everybody loves Peyton and whatever. I remember seeing Al Wilson. Yeah, everybody on that team. That's when I knew.
Great answer. Wow, what a phenomenal game. Perfect memory on it too, Takeo. All right, so before we go, I just want to give Takeo the floor to kind of talk about a podcast and a book called Behind the Mask, so that our viewers can kind of hear, you know, what you've been up to after the NFL and, you know, how amazing your podcast and your book are and why they should tune in.
Yeah, so this is the exact reason why. Stand by, hold on. So this is the reason why I came out with the Behind the Mask podcast. But before that, there was the Behind the Mask book.
Whoa, photographer, Takeo Behind the Lens.
And so, all right, so what it based upon was I wanted to share my story, and I thought it would be cool to get other great Hall of Fame caliber linebackers to share their stories of how did they become great. So that's how Behind the Mask was started, turned into a podcast. And so now I created a platform to where it allows other athletes to be the author of their own autobiography. So listen, when I throw up that lob, they catching it and they running with it. Kostos, you know what I'm talking about.
Yep.
We giving them an opportunity. We talk about social issues. We talk about parenthood. We talk about breaks from being in the NFL, sitting in the locker room, reminiscing. Everything that you want to know. And it's not just NFL, but it's other athletes, basketball. I think of Olympians, Asia Evans, bronze medalist in the bobsled. I think of Christy Castlin. You know, so we have all demographics of people on our show, even people of status, the celebrities, and we talk real life issues, what everybody wants to hear about. The same trending report or question you asked me about Lil Nas X, same type of things that we do. So make sure you find it on all platforms. It's on YouTube, so you got the visual aid component. Oh yeah, man, listen, we going ham every week.
All right, so be sure to follow Takeo's podcast. He's over on YouTube. Also, be sure to head over to his Instagram. We'll be sure to link that down below so you guys can actually find his exact username, which it's Takeo Spikes
51.
Takeo Spikes 51. So if you guys want to follow him on Instagram, be sure to find him over there. And also be sure to tune into his podcast and go and buy his book if you haven't already. What are you guys waiting for?
Exactly. Marissa did.
Yeah, I was there at the book signing, Takeo.
I know it. I appreciate that too. Kostos, I missed you that night. So I was waiting to do this interview so we can, we're pubbing the book right now. So I definitely would love your support.
Yes. I got you.
Right on. I appreciate that.
You got it.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Takeo Spikes, for being our first guest here on Shade Selects. I know that Kostos and I were extremely excited to have you on. I wish you the best of luck this year with your podcast as well as your book. But again, just thank you for talking sneakers with us for the last hour. It's been a good time.
I enjoyed it. I really did. I didn't know what to expect from the first day that you brought it up to me. But you made me feel comfortable after you laid out the format and you told me Kostos he was gonna be there, so I was like, you know what, I'm good. So I appreciate you guys having me.
Appreciate you, man. Thank you for coming on.
Right on.
All right. Well, that's it for another Shade Selects on Mondays. We'll see you guys on another week. But everybody have a wonderful rest of your evening. We will catch you on the next episode. All right. See you both later.